Okay, just a quick video on and off. We have a point of 9. Shooter's been shooting for quite a while. As you can see, the layout is full of bets. Everybody's happy, everything's going well, and boom, sure enough, you know, one dice goes off the table. Player next to me yells, next to stick, turn my bets off. Remember, they have full control of all of this money except what? A flat bet on a come bet, because that is a contract bet. So if this player had, let's just put one layout there too, and we'll talk about that. So, player next to stick says, turn my bets off. He has all place bets. We put an off button nearest to the box, which signifies all that player's bets are off. Player 2 from stick also says, turn my bets off. So I look for his place bets. He's got a place bet on the 8. He has a place bet on the 4. But he also has a flat bet on the 10. He has 2 come bets on the 6 and 5. When we put an off button, yes, it does signify that all of that person's place bets are off. But this is a flat bet, which we know is always working. And these 2 flat bets are working. But when he says turn all my bets off, we have to put a separate off button on the odds on the come bets. Why? Because these are considered, remember, inside box is a true odds bet, place bets, or a place bet odds bet. So whenever someone says turn all my bets off, we do just what they say. We turn all the bets that they have the ability to turn off. Why? We cannot turn this off, and we cannot turn off the 2 $5 bets. So next roll, sure enough, 6 easy 6. Player cannot turn off a don't or a don't bet, but they certainly have the option to take it down. If the player says turn off my lay bet, we just hand it back to him. That's how we turn it off. We don't actually put an on button. Why? Because this is a working bet, whether this is on or off. So this bet never gets turned off unless they say turn it off. We just hand it all back to them like that. Once we hand it to them, they can't put it back, right? Because just like a don't pass that we just explained in the previous video, this, once it's there, it's there. Now, they can take it down, but they cannot take the house's advantage back once they take it down. It has to stay down until this point is settled before they can make a new bet to try to get a new number. So, when a player says off, we turn off all their place bets, we turn off all their odds on their come bets. Everything else works, okay? That's turning bets off. Now the player throws the 9 winner, we turn the puck off. Player 2 from me says, I want all my bets working. Certainly, which means it's a come out roll. We know all of this is off except for the flat bets, right? But the player 2 from me wants to work. Just like we put an off button, we put an on button on that player's bets. All of their bets are working. They have a flat bet here. They have the option to put odds and work those as well, but if they choose not to, no problem. But his 4 come bets, place bets, excuse me, are now working because he turned them on. 7, front line winner. Take your don'ts, pay your lines. 6 and 8 field goal away. We pay everybody. Save the odds, right? We hand off the odds for the players that have come bets. Okay. We know all of those are going to lose in a second. I pay my down behind first. Because remember, they're betting that the 7 will roll before 6. So that they hit their point. Put it in the don't come and leave it. And at that point, the first thing I do is I pick up all my losing come bets, all my flat bets, straight to my stack. And now I have to pick up this person's place bets. Why? Because they were working, which means they were betting against the 7. The 7 rolled, they are off. So that's your explanation on when players can turn their bets off when a point is established. They don't need to turn them off when it's off because the bets are already automatically off. But when a point's established, they can turn off all their bets except their contract bets. When it's off, everyone can turn on their bets if they choose. Some people do. Some days you'll see that you'll just be turning everything on. Everybody wants to work. And that's certainly their option. It's their money and they have full control over it. So just remember, we never turn off the don't comes. If they say turn it off, we hand it off. And they cannot come back up until the previous point is settled. All bets end. If someone says, just turn my place bets off, and he did have a come bet, you just turn off the place bets and put an on button on the come bet. That means these odds are still working, but all the place bets are off. Some casinos don't even require you to put the on button on the odds. That just means that the place bet's off. I do it to protect myself. You said just your place bets are off. You had a come bet. I'm sorry, but that works. This is to protect me. So I would recommend that whenever someone says turn off my place bets, turn them off. But if you tell, say, yeah, well, your come bet's working, they may have turned around, walked away from the game after they told you. So you have to be able to protect yourself at all times. So do exactly what the player said. Player said, turn off my place bets. That's what I did. Okay? So that is your explanation on off and on.